Hey guys, welcome back. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past week or so, you'll know that Tarte just launched their new Shape Tape foundation. Also, if you read the description box in almost every one of my videos, you'll notice that that is the only concealer that I wear because it's perfect for oily skin. And, when I heard that they were launching a foundation, it's like, a dream coming true. Well, maybe. I have tried my best up until this point to kind of avoid other reviews on this foundation. I haven't watched any of the YouTube videos on it. I have only seen article headlines. I haven't actually read a lot of the articles about it, but I already have some opinions just based on my experience trying to choose a shade online. So let's go to the Tarte website and I can tell you a little bit more about it. Unlike the concealer, the Shape Tape foundation actually comes in two finishes. So if you've got the purple top, you have the matte finish, and if you have the blue top, you've got the hydrating finish. I had made up my mind pretty much when I knew the foundation was coming out that I wanted to try both because I might really like the hydrating one. Who knows? Even though I'm a big fan of matte foundations. But the problem is, as soon as I went to the website, when it was available to purchase these, I noticed that the shade ranges were really strange. When you click on the foundation, if you're not sure what shade you are, there's a little button that says find your perfect shade. So that was what I did. I wasn't 100% sure what shade I should be because the concealers, I like the fair concealer, but I also like to highlight a little bit, and it's definitely too light for everyday, like, all over wear. So I kind of wanted a little bit more assistance choosing a shade. So I chose, it takes you through this whole thing. It says select your skin tone, light, medium, tan, or dark. Okay, where's fair? So whatever, I chose light. The next one says choose the model that best matches your skin tone. Fair, light, light, or light medium. Again, where's fair? Again, whatever. So I chose fair, light. And then it asks you if you are cool, neutral, or warm undertone. So I selected cool and get my results. And apparently there's only one shade that works for me, and it is not in the matte foundation. It is only available in the hydrating version. So if I go to the matte foundation and take the same little foundation quiz, my results say, sorry Tartlet, we couldn't find your perfect match this time. So you're telling me you have two completely different shade ranges in both foundations. What? So basically what that told me was that both of these foundations have two completely separate shade ranges. There's very little overlap between them. And if you click on the shade range, on your phone, your computer, and you expand it, it's 15 shades a piece. Okay. But it's 15 different shades, and they don't go very fair, and they don't go very deep. For a brand that's been so inclusive with its other foundation launches, this was kind of weird. There's only 3 shades that would, I would even try to classify as deep toned. And I did read that Tarte said they're coming out with 10 more shades in this foundation. But I don't know what that means. Does it mean just 10 matte shades? Just 10 hydrating shades? 5 of each? How are they actually splitting it up? Because honestly, even adding 5 deep shades to each really doesn't equalize their shade range all that much. Anyway, so first impressions on that was I think the shade range is kind of crappy, and that there's no equivalent across the 2 different foundations. So the one that I picked for the hydrating one that said would work for me was fair beige, so that was my shade match version, and I had to just kind of guess with the matte one, so I chose fair, light, neutral. It's only available in warm and neutral undertones. So I'm going to have to try it out, but since I have two, I'm going to try them both at the same time on different sides of my face. I think I'll do the matte version on this side and the hydrating version on this side because I do have some blemishes that are forming or, just kind of starting to go away. And I want to see how the hydrating one does, if its coverage is any good, if it's as shape tapey as I think it is. We'll see. The packaging for the foundation feels super luxurious. It's this kind of opaque glass bottle, real glass, and it has the same shape tape handle like the concealer does. So you pretty much know when you see it, it's the Shape Tape foundation. I believe it has the giant ass doe foot applicator too. Yes, it does. This is the matte one, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it on this side, I guess, and just swipe it on my face. And I'm gonna take my Eco Tool sponge to blend this in. It does have a brush for this that you can purchase, and there's a sponge for the hydrating one, but if I'm being honest, if I'm using this every day, like as an everyday foundation, I'm probably just going to use my sponge. So that's what I got. And again, this is the matte one. And I already moisturized and primed prior to, sitting here to film. So we'll see how this goes. First impressions on the matte side is yes, it is very matte. It's very comfortable though, and I don't think that this is an awful shade match for me. The only issue is on the camera it looks really good, but in person here it has a slight kind of like it's a little too warm for me, but I can make that work on camera. You can't really tell with the lights and everything. It goes on more medium to full coverage with the option to kind of build it up. I did use it a little bit extra here just to see if it covered some of my acne scarring, the redness a little bit more. And it did. It did a pretty good job. So I mean, as far as it actually performing as a foundation, I'm okay with it so far. Okay, on to the hydrating side. Same packaging, it just has the blue ribbon on it instead of the purple. Same applicator. I'm just gonna, again, draw some stripes. I don't know how I feel about having to keep putting this applicator back in here though, because you don't get a whole lot of foundation out, at one go. But I'm gonna use, I guess, like the side of the sponge where I didn't touch it with the other one and start blending this one in. This is another one of those instances where I want to say, I'm not sure you can tell on camera, but to me in the mirror, the matte side definitely has a bunch more coverage than this hydrating side. And honestly, I don't know, I mean, this hydrating foundation is nice, but it doesn't feel or seem like a Shape Tape to me at all, unless that's what they're going for. They're going to come out with a hydrating Shape Tape at some point. Maybe, I don't know. But the coverage is definitely not as good on this side as it is on this side. You can see the darkness under my eyes way more here than on this side. I almost feel like I don't even need concealer over here if I was just going out and running errands. You can still see the hyperpigmentation here from my acne scarring, and you can see the redness here where this is going to be a very painful blemish probably over the weekend. And I like the finish of it. I think it looks nice. I don't know how long it'll last, but I don't know that this one really qualifies to be called Shape Tape because it's nothing like the concealer whatsoever. I guess let's go ahead and try to build it up a little more like right under the eyes, maybe my chin where I've got a bunch of redness, and just see how that does, how well it builds. Okay, so it did build pretty well. I still don't think there's any way that you're going to get this to full coverage though. You know, like I said, I just don't know why this is a Shape Tape foundation, not like a completely different range, I guess. Because I did put a second layer under my eyes and right here along my chin. And I still don't even know if I would call it medium coverage. But, I mean, it's still, like I said, it's a wonderful finish. It does look a little more radiant than this side. This side is like almost totally set. It feels like a powder finish. And this one feels more tacky. Like this one may not dry down all the way, whereas this one is like, I don't know if I'd have to powder it. I also think that this hydrating version, the undertone is a little bit better, but this is supposed to be a cool undertone, this fair beige. And I don't see a whole lot of difference between this one and the matte one, enough to call them like separate undertones really. This one's still a little more on the orangey side for me. Like you can tell along my hairline, like it doesn't match. But like I've said in a couple of previous videos, the true test is how the rest of my makeup applies on top of this. So I'm going to leave both sides on. I'm not going to take it off and just go one or the other. I'm going to put on a little bit of makeup and come back and let you know how everything did. Okay, and we are back. I really didn't notice a difference in anything that I applied on top of these foundations. I did notice that even though I set everything, I did get some creasing on the hydrating side on my lid pretty badly, but I mean that's something that I can easily fix. There is a little bit of creasing up here already, which is kind of strange, but otherwise I think everything else, it looks okay. These foundations are $39 a piece though, so it's a little pricey, but not extremely, you know, up there for a, you know, higher end foundation. But would I spend $39 a piece again on these? No, probably not, honestly. I do like this matte one. I'm going to try this out a little bit more. It has felt like a powder the entire time I've had it on. I like the way it looks. I might mix in something a little bit with it to get the undertone a little more correct. But I like it overall. And this hydrating one I do like, but it's so much of a lighter coverage than I thought it was going to be. I really was just hoping it was going to be like the Shape Tape, but, you know, just a hydrating version. As a matter of fact, the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation that I reviewed recently, I'll link that video up here in the eye too if you're interested. I think they're very, very similar, although the Wet n Wild one has a much more constricted shade range. I mean, that one was $8.99 and this one's $39. I probably would just pay the $8.99. Call it a day. I am also still a little disappointed in their initial launch with the shade range. I think that they could have just held off launching it a little bit longer until they had those additional 10 shades, but, you know, even with those 10 shades, I still don't understand why there's like two almost entirely distinct shade ranges for this. You know, some of the shades aren't in one but are in the other, but what if you don't want that one? TLDR, if you got this far, I like the matte one a lot. I think I will definitely use it again. I feel like it could be a contender for, you know, the Estee Lauder Double Wear is one of my favorites, but the hydrating one is good, but I think there's just more options out there that cost a little bit less that perform just as well on my skin in particular, so I probably wouldn't repurchase that one. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I think I got a little rambly, at the end, but I just kept getting all these different thoughts come in, you know, all at once, and you know, I tried. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below or here in the corner before you leave. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and let me know if you've tried the Shape Tape Foundation and what you think about it down in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in my next video. See ya!